everyone. So today we're going to do a bit of a stretch class, so a more therapeutic class, but really important for your recovery of your muscles, for your body, for your nervous system. So we like to take a little bit of a break every now and then and introduce some stretch and some muscle release. So that's what we're going to be focusing on today. So go ahead and get a mat or get something like a blanket that you can lay out. And if you do have one at home, grab a ball. Any ball will do, lacrosse ball, racquetball, squash, a golf ball will even do, tennis ball, whatever you've got, and go grab that. So hit pause here and then get what you need and come on down to our mats. And we're gonna come into, we want 90 degrees in the legs coming onto our side here. All right, so bringing the legs up so that they're 90 degrees and stacking knee over knee is important. We want to make sure that we don't slide this leg over. We want to make sure we keep these legs nice and tight together. So ankle, knee, hip, stacking. And then we're going to just take the bottom hand, and if you feel like you might be lifting that leg up, you can just put it on the top of that top leg and hold it down. We're going to bring our head down to the ground, and we're going to focus on getting some real nice stretch into the chest here, chest muscles. So this might feel uncomfortable, especially if you have range of motion issues in the shoulder or opportunities. This is actually going to help you get and increase your range of motion in the shoulders. This is something we practice in personal training to help people get more range and to kind of heal within the shoulder girdle. So what we're going to do here is find a comfortable position on your side, keeping these legs down, and we're going to really focus on using the breath here. You've got to use the breath when you're doing stretching. If you're holding the breath at all, it's not going to work. So we're going to inhale and exhale just slowly as we take our hands starting at the, what would this be, like 9 o'clock? 3 o'clock? Anyway, out in front of you, and then we're just going to slowly bring that arm up overhead. We're going to follow the hand and the arm with the eyes, so the head is moving with. So everything is kind of fine. Maybe you're feeling a tiny bit of a stretch here or nothing at all. Yeah, no problem. Remember, we don't want any bend in the elbows, keeping the arms straight, following, and we're breathing. And this is where it might get a little bit stuck. You might be able not to see your hand, but the idea is the head is following the arm. And this is where it might to feel stretch. You might be like, this is my limit. I can't go any further. That's okay if that's the truth, but let's try to breathe there for a moment. And we're going to make a suggestion to the body and the nervous system that it's safe. It's safe to keep going. And we'd be surprised what happens. With each exhale, we feel the body relax a little bit deeper. And we move the arm, sliding it along the ground. And you might not have it along the ground, it might be up in the air, and that's okay. The more you practice it, the more you might notice that the arm gives into gravity with the use of our breath. You might feel the body letting go in other areas as well. Feel a nice big stretch along this pec muscle. And the idea is bringing the shoulder to the ground. Now my shoulder isn't touching the ground yet, but I'm still working with this movement myself. You might feel some tingly, some nerve action here. There we go. Just breathing in when you're complete with that, and just feeling into both sides. I don't know about you guys, but this side is nice and opened up. This is a great warm up as well if you know you're going to be holding a barbell on your back or doing any overhead pressing. This really just helps to open up the shoulder and the chest. So feel the difference right now in both sides. Now remember, when it gets tight at the top there, instead of panicking and freaking out and, you know, I can't, it's gonna hurt, breathe for a moment, suggest to the nervous system, you're safe, it's okay, and just notice what happens within the body. All right? All right, guys, now let's go ahead and do the other side. So coming down in the same position here, right? Stacking 90 degree in the legs and bringing the head down. We're gonna bring that arm out in front of us, that top arm, and we're gonna start to bring it over our head like the hand of a clock. This is where we really will feel different muscles, tendons in there. For me, my shoulders are different, the arms are different. Going at a pace that works for you. This is where I start to feel that this is my max. But I know when I breathe and suggest to my nervous system that it's safe to go further, that I can. And look what happens. Gets tight again a little bit. Oh, so tight in there. Breathe. Make sure the shoulder isn't creeping up to the ears too much. All right, bringing ourselves up nice and slow. So when we are working with these therapeutic movements, it's really nice to make sure that we're slowly getting ourselves up and not activating that sympathetic nervous system too much. Okay, so now we are going to work with a thoracic extension here. So if you have like a table or a chair or something nearby, you're gonna come on over to that table or chair. Have something under your knees if you're on a hard surface, because we don't necessarily, we want to be comfortable, right? We don't want to be causing any pain of any sort. So from here, we're going to bring our knees back. We're going to bring our elbows to the table, having our hands clasped behind the head here. Now what we want to watch out for here is that we're not extending in the spine here. So our ribs are staying in to the core to where you can't really feel them jetting away from the body. So they're not sticking out. So we have to have some core activation here. This is such a micro movement that you might not even really think that you're doing anything, because the T-spine doesn't really mobilize that well anyway. So we're just looking for a really micro movement here. So keeping those ribs tucked in, hands on the back of the head, and we're literally just sending the elbows forward and the hips back, but in a minute way where the chest drops just a little and then comes back up. Dropping just a little and back up. Keeping the neck nice and neutral too. Think about the elbows. They don't actually move, it's just kind of a rocking. All right, 2 more. Deep breathing. coming up. So where we really want the movement to be happening is in this portion here, right? So we don't want the movement to be happening in here, right? That's why it's quite, everything in this portion of our spine is attached to the ribs, so it doesn't have much flexibility in there. So it's really small movement, but it really is important to help with the shoulders and the chest being nice and open for our exercises. All right, so what do we got next? All right, guys, grab your ball. I'll give you a second to get that. I'm sure you have it around you. And we're going to just kind of practice this glute release or glute massage, self-massage in 3 different variations depending on how tight your glutes are and if you got some trigger points in there. So we don't want to be going into the point of intense, I can't breathe, kind of, even if you like that kind of massage, we're not wanting to do that to our nervous system, okay? So it's going to be more helpful to back off a little bit instead of going right for the grind. That's what I usually do, and I don't get what I'm looking for as a result. So I've learned to back off a little bit and work with my body. First, take the ball. First option is just to roll it around on the hips and the glutes here. So we're rolling kind of like back and forth in a linear motion, and then up and down as well. So kind of like a tic-tac-toe. Colin's laughing at me right now. I don't know why. Is it this or is it the wording? I don't know. It's been a long day. All right, so option 1. Option 2 is putting the ball against the wall ball. And from here, right, we're just gonna do the same thing, but we have a little more force. This is intense. See, this is where I would probably hit my point and I would stay with some ball work. This is where I do stay with ball work. So you want to roll it around on there. And for these kind of movements, you want to do frequency over duration. So we don't want to spend 10 minutes up against the wall, but it'd be better to do 5 minutes, even 3 minutes a couple times a day if we can. So, if you're working at the computer all day and you can stop and you can do 2 minutes per glute on each side, that's giving you a little break from sitting, a little break from the screen, and you're doing something really nice that feels good for the body as well and adding to your recovery. All right, that's the second option. Third option is coming down to the ground, right? And we're gonna put the ball under our glute. Holy Hannah, get ready for it. We're gonna take that figure 4 and we're gonna roll over top. I'm just gonna demo this for a second, guys, because this is not my wheelhouse. This is not where I wanna go. Oh yeah, though. So you're kind of using your hands to lift yourself up a bit and then rolling around on that glute muscle there. Yeah. Breathe through it. If you do find a trigger point, that area that's like, that there's something there, you want to stay on it and then breathe. Hold it for about 8 to 10 seconds and no longer, right? We don't want to be digging in there. Believe it or not, that won't help. So you want to stay on it 8 to 10 seconds and then release off of it. Again, you're still looking for that grid motion, so not necessarily circles, but grid motion across the muscle, both ways. All right, that's your hip release with your ball. All right, guys, so we're gonna roll out the quads a little bit here. If you do have a foam roller, I'm gonna show you how to use that. If you don't, but you have a water bottle, like any kind of water bottle, we can show you how to use that too. We're gonna start with the foam roller. So we're gonna put the foam roller just above our knee on our leg, and you wanna have the other leg for support, knee bent on the other side. Having those hands plugged into the ground so that the shoulders aren't dipping down, right? And from here, we're gonna have that core nice and engaged. We're gonna just steamroll that quad muscle. And as we do that, we're breathing. If you want to get more intense, you just put more weight. Quad's not too bad right now. Beautiful. Now we're not like pinwheeling, what's the word called?
Rolling dough?
Rolling pin.
Rolling pin.
We're not rolling with the rolling pin going back and forth. We're just going in one direction. So we're rolling ever so slowly up the top of the thigh, the front of the thigh. So we're not, notice how slow I'm moving though? Sometimes we see people that are rolling themselves out, right? And they're like just going like Mach 10 in speed, and it's not really gonna get them the effect they're looking for. Even if it feels good in the moment, it's not doing what this was designed to do. All right, bringing it, see, like I think I'm like halfway there. That's how slow this goes, right? And breathing. If you find a spot that you might notice, you can stop and stick on it, breathe for 5 seconds, and then keep going. What we don't want to roll out here is our IT band. We want to make sure we're staying on those big leg muscles versus that IT band. That IT band is just a lot of fascia, and rolling it is just going to create more stickiness in that area. Breathing through that, nice and released. Woo, you could even go up into the groin there and into the hip. All right. Beautiful work, guys. So now I'm going to show you how to do that on the other side with the water bottle. Okay, guys, we're going to try it on our water bottle now. So this is going to be slippier. Slipperier. Slip. And we're just going to curl. I don't know what's going on with my words today. So same motions in the rolling, right? And you want to have the same form as we had on the other side. You can come down to the elbows if that feels better for you. And it literally feels the exact same. So we're just going very slow. Making sure we're not turning over on our side, that we're just, staying in the front of our thigh. Have that core nice and engaged. Oh, that feels good. Usually my quads are a little tighter, but today it's more my glutes. Probably from yesterday's workout. Keep breathing. Bringing it all the way at the top. And just because we're doing this once right now, doesn't mean like that's all you need. You could do this practice, 2 to 3 times, going over each leg. All right, guys, we're gonna just finish off with a couple of yoga stretches for us. So moving your stuff aside, and I'm gonna just move my mat up a bit. And we're just gonna come into a tabletop position. So if you wanna do a couple of more rolls with your rollers, go ahead and press pause here now. And then we'll come back and finish with some stretching on the mat. All right, coming back to tabletop. So stacking knees under hips, joints over joints, shoulder, elbow, wrists, and plugging in those hands into the mat so they're nice and active. They're not just, we're not just dropping into the wrist, but we're in the whole hand here. And from here, we're just gonna inhale, heart forward. Exhale, rounding the back. And let's not go crazy here, dropping the head. We're just gonna do it very lightly, making sure that we still have engagement in the core. So we're pulling up the belly button to touch the back of the spine here throughout this entire movement. As we inhale, bring that heart forward through the shoulders, and on the exhale, we press into the ground, back of the heart to the sky. When that feels complete for you, just go ahead and return to your neutral table. From here, we're gonna inhale, one arm up to the sky as we rotate. Exhale, we're gonna thread the needle here under the other arm. Bring that shoulder as close to the ground as possible. If you want to place a blanket under there or a block for support, you can do that. And if you want to get a little opening in the top of the shoulders here between the shoulder blades, you're just going to take that hand that's on the ground and just press into it to rotate a little bit. Not forcefully, just gently. Breathe into that space between the shoulder blades. From here, we're going to press into that hand supporting and pull ourselves back up. We're going to take it on the other side now. Inhaling, arm up to the sky. Exhale, bringing it underneath, threading the needle. And then I kind of take my hand from here, I move it out a little bit further to give myself more stability. And then I just press a little bit into the ground with this hand to open up the shoulders. Take 3 nice big inhales and exhales here. And we're going to walk that hand back over to the mat to support as we press into it. We drag that arm out from under. All right, we're going to bring the big toes together, knees wide, far apart, and we're just going to lower ourselves down. Getting a nice opening in the hips here. Just find what feels good. Bringing that chest right down to the ground. You can always take a pillow or a block or even a book and put it under the forehead for support, if that feels good. Or you can take a block and put it under the bum for support on the highest level, right? Whatever's feeling good. So take 2 more breaths here. The breath is the bridge between the mind and the body, and when the breath is signaling relax, the mind and the body get the message. So that they needs the breath to keep flowing and flowing with long inhales and exhales to signal to that nervous system and to the muscles to relax and let go. So pressing ourselves back up. We're going to come around. We're going to bring our legs out in front of us. And so there's 2 options here. You can have your knees, just a micro bend in the knees to help, but if you want to take a more of a lower back stretch, you're going to have your knees bent. If you want a more of a stretch for the hamstrings or along the back of the leg here, you're going to keep your legs straight. So in both scenarios though, I have my toes pointed to the sky and nice and active in the feet. So I'm going to take my hands behind me and give a nice inhale as I bring my heart to the sky. I'm not jetting out in the ribs though, right? I'm bringing my heart to the sky. And then I'm just walking forward, honestly, as far as it feels comfortable. Like it might just be here, and that's okay. And from here, we start to let the back round and the head come down. So I can literally feel a stretch all along my back body, from the soles of my feet, along my legs, along my back, all the way up to my neck. So on the inhale, we lengthen. On the exhale, we soften a little deeper. So notice you might get into the stretch a little bit deeper. Woo. So when you work out a lot like you guys do, the muscles get tight. And if all we're doing is tightening the muscles, and we're not lengthening the muscles, what do you think that's gonna do? It's not gonna cause a lot of flexibility, right? It's gonna cause a lot of stagnant, or what am I looking for? Static kind of power, but no flexibility. No lengthening the muscle is also really important for the look of toning the muscle that people love. Right? So slowly starting to walk ourselves back up. Whew. Yeah, beautiful. All right, we're gonna come down to the ground now. And we're going to cross our legs over, ankle over, knee, either side, doesn't matter. If this is enough of a glute stretch for you, you can stay here. If you like to get a little bit deeper, we're going to inhale and bring that leg up. Notice both feet are active to protect the knee joint. I'm going to suggest that you take a hand to that thigh and you kind of externally rotate that thigh. As you can either have no hand on the back of the thigh, or you can take a hand there for support. This is kind of a self-assist. So just nice, externally, nice and gentle. Beautiful, bringing that down. I'm going to swap sides. Again, this might be enough for you. If not, just kind of hugging in those core muscles to bring that leg up. We can hold on. I'm getting a nice stretch on the inside of my thighs muscles here too. And I can also take that external rotation, or I can take the elbow to the knee and push it out. Again, not forcefully, just gently. All right, let's drop that leg down, uncross, take a big long stretch here. Let it go. We're gonna roll over and finish off with just a little bit of neck hygiene. So taking an easy cross-legged pose, finding the sits bones, keeping that spine nice and long, crown of the head pointed towards the sky. I did not style my hair today, that's why I've got a hat on. So here we go. We're gonna draw circles with the nose, so coming round down. You got it. Might hear some cracking and some crunching. Oh yeah. And other direction. This neck hygiene can go a long way. If you've got a headache, some of these neck circles and neck movements, along with some deep breathing, can really help to subside that headache. All right, coming back to center and just gentle roll in the shoulders. Let's bring the hands behind our body and clasp them together. Gentle roll of the shoulders to open the chest, and think about pulling those hands down to the ground. Inhale, lifting up, nice neck stretch here. As we exhale, coming down, back of the neck. Taking 2 more of those with your inhale. Exhale. Inhaling. Exhale, coming down. And let it go. Hey guys, so just to leave you with a couple of thoughts about how to get the most out of your therapeutics and your stretching and your recovery days. When we are doing movements like these, we have to keep in mind to not strain. So often we see people who are straining and they're like, and they're just tugging on themselves and holding their breath and making it effortful. It really works against you when you're doing that. So it might feel good to really stretch and pull on something, but the actual long-term effects of that, they don't last, right? And so think of not straining, concentrate on relaxation and focus on the breath with the body movement at the same time, and that's gonna really go a long way for you. So those are the tips. That's what we practice at home, so that's what we like to teach and like to offer. All right, have a great day.